Hi guys, it's Sam here with Bargain Hunting Blonde, and today I am bringing you a video about 5 reasons why I prefer Chanel lambskin over Chanel caviar. So I know this is always a big topic in the Chanel community, and it can be kind of controversial because a lot of people really prefer the caviar. They cite durability, they just cite that they think it's better value for money, just because the bags have gotten so expensive from Chanel. I'm here to say today why I still buy Preloved and new lambskin when I can. I know some bags do not come in lambskin and some bags only come in lambskin, but when I can, I really try to buy lambskin. I love lambskin. So let's start with number 1. The first thing for me is lambskin is a classic. Besides the jersey cotton material that the bags were originally made out of, lambskin was the second type of material that the Chanel fashion house turned to, and it was seen as more of the classic Chanel material than the caviar. For example, French women for a long time would only buy lambskin, and still to this day only buy lambskin, and lambskin actually used to be more expensive than the caviar. They have since evened out their prices that lambskin and caviar are the same, but it used to be that lambskin was seen as more of a classic and therefore was more expensive than the caviar. Number 2, and I have written them all down, so if I'm looking down, that's why I gave up on the phone, guys. It just drove me insane. So number 2, and I think you can really see that with this bag. This is my Chanel mini rectangular flap. It is in this beautiful blue color with silver hardware. And I did buy this in the Rue Cambon store on my honeymoon. So it's very special to me. It was my first ever in-store Chanel purchase. And I did look at the time, I looked at the black lambskin and the burgundy lambskin as well, but I love blue. And I love this dark navy color. So I actually really like this lambskin mini. I've used it a lot. And I think the thing for me about lambskin is, I wish you guys could feel this. It is so luxurious and smooth. It just feels so much more like a luxury bag. And it's one of the reasons why I don't like leathers like Saffiano or Caviar, is to me, they don't feel as expensive as the lambskin does. The lambskin is just soft to the touch. It's buttery. It smells better. I know that's weird, but definitely for me, like when I smell a fine leather good, I love that smell. I know it's very weird. But that's kind of what lambskin reminds me of. It's just like a really luxurious, beautiful material that is, you get, your kind of value for money. You're like, okay, I understand why this is expensive. This feels so nice. It's so soft. Versus like the caviar just kind of has this harder texture to it that I feel like you could get with a lower end handbag. Still a great bag, like Kate Spade, that sort of thing, but it just doesn't feel like a Chanel bag should feel to me. So it doesn't seem as luxurious. That's number 2. Number 3, durability. So a lot of times people talk about how Chanel lambskin is not durable, how you shouldn't buy lambskin, how it's gonna get ruined. And my rebuttal to that is just to like point to the Preloved market and point to these Chanel lambskin flaps that are literally like 30 years old, and some of them look amazing. Granted, some of them have been very beat up, but that's also because of how people take care of their bags. I've seen some very beat up caviar as well. It's just really dependent on the person and how much, do they use this bag every day? Do they have a lot of bags? Do they take care of their bag? Do they throw it everywhere? So I think Chanel lambskin is much more durable than people think it is. And so I have one of my much older Chanel lambskin flat bags, and this is a light color. So this is my beige Chanel Paris Edition flat bag. So it's Paris Edition because of this trim, which is a lot like the Diana, but then it does have the 2-colored hardware on the lock. So it is silver and gold. This is a light beige bag. It is showing up a little darker on camera than it really is. And as you guys will see, it is in very good condition. And it is, I believe, about 1990, 1991, maybe slightly older. So this is definitely an old bag. It is lambskin and it is held up so well, guys. Like, I wear this all the time. I'm sure the previous owner wore it all the time. And when I look at it, it is very hard for me to find flaws on it. Like, I do see one, I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to see it. There's one slight flaw. Do you guys see that right there? And I would believe that's probably because of how the chain sits on it. Sometimes it does hit it. The corners are in remarkable condition. I'll show you guys that in a second. But we can just zoom in on some of them. Like, they are in really good condition, which is kind of crazy for the bag. And then the back, you would expect color transfer, and there is literally none. So yes, there is some creasing, but that is going to happen regardless of Chanel caviar or lambskin, because this is a flat bag, and how you open the bag, you do pull it open. And so that's going to happen. But I mean, this is amazing. This is just, to me, durability to the max. the lambskin, it still feels smooth, it still feels nice. This bag has not been taken to a leather spot or touched up in any sort of way, and it's still in amazing, amazing condition. So 4, and this is more prevalent to me with different colors, especially in some of the more recent seasons where we've seen almost kind of like neon colors, but I'll bring back up my blue bag since I don't have a lot of really bright colored Chanels, is the color saturation to me is so much better on the lambskin, and it just looks better on the lambskin. I'm sure that there are colors that look better on the caviar, but for me, in general, all the colors I've looked at, it just looks better on the lambskin. I'm not sure if it's the leather texture or what it is, but the color saturation is just stunning. Like, this blue is just so, so, so beautiful. Like, it is just crazy how beautiful this blue is. And like I showed you guys with my last lot, this is actually going to be very hard to see. This is a much newer bag. There is some slight wrinkling on the back. Again, it's a flat bag. That's what happens. I do carry this bag up against jeans, dark dresses. I've put a lot of stuff in it. My husband is always handing me things to put in my bag, like his sunglasses, and all goes in this little guy. So I would say color saturation and, again, durability is just amazing in the lambskin. I think if you're discounting it because you're afraid of it, I do somewhat understand that. I have had white lambskin and I was afraid of it, but I think that was more the factor that it was white than it was lambskin. So definitely something to consider if you're looking at bags. And lastly, and I'm going to use one of my vintage Chanel bags to kind of show this, and this is a vintage caviar bag. I have only seen this bag in caviar and patent leather. I've never seen it in lambskin, and I do a lot of vintage shopping and hunting all the time. So that is my small Chanel vintage vanity, and this is in the caviar leather, and you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about, and then I'll show you some lambskin. But for me, I prefer the uniformity and the texture of the lambskin leather, because there is so much variation in caviar leather from season to season and from collection to collection. There is often somewhat a little bit of a variation with the lambskin. With the new like white pearlescent lambskin, I know it is a little tougher. I think that's because of the pearlescent factor, but most of the time all the lambskin I've touched seems very similar, while the caviar really, really differs. So as you guys can see, you can really see the pebbling on this caviar. It reminds me a lot of a Saffiano leather. And so yes, it does have a little bit of a durability factor, people think. I personally don't like Saffiano because I think once you scratch it, you're done. And you can kind of see it forever, and the corners wear super quickly. But I don't like that you can see all this texture in the caviar. Even from far away, you can kind of see it. It also makes the bag shiny. And I don't particularly like that because I don't love patent leather. So if you like patent leather, it's probably not an issue for you. But for me, I see this and I'm like, is it patent leather? Is that caviar leather? Like, what is that? So I just don't like the texture and the kind of the gradation of the pebbling, and how the pebbling can be really, really pronounced on some caviars and barely existent on others. And it really depends on the season, and I just don't like that non-uniformity in the material. But you will see in this lambskin, it is just so smooth. Look at that. Look at those beautiful puffy quilts. Just so smooth and beautiful and luxurious. And I really I could just look at this for days if we're being real here. It's just so beautiful. And I love the uniformity and the texture. Guys, I'm a lambskin person, and I will say that I am very lucky that I do have a big handbag collection, and so I do not use my lambskin bags every day. I'm not sure if my viewpoint would change if I did use them every day, and it very well might, but I'm lucky that I don't use them every day, and therefore they stay in really good condition. Even bags that I personally have had for a couple of years, and then I bought very, very pre-loved. Like, this bag and I are basically the same age. This bag is almost 30 years old. It's just crazy. So I really think that's something that you need to consider, is lambskin is not scary. It's just another bag material. I think it's a very luxurious bag material. And, I understand if it's still not for you and you're still team caviar. I just think that there's a lot of myths about lambskin that need to be dispelled, and why I would be team lambskin. Also, I didn't mention this during the durability portion because I've never actually had to use this technique, but apparently if you do get a mark on your lambskin, you can basically rub it out with the oils in your hand or the dust bag. I was thinking I had it close to me, but I did not. I don't know if I would do that with the mini dust bag, because the mini dust bag is not the traditional white Chanel flap dust bag, because minis are not necessarily considered classics, which is kind of weird to me. But, they always get the price increases. But you can just kind of buff out any sort of scratch you're seeing on your bag, and I think that's a really nice factor. When you're scratching a material that has all this pebbling, sometimes it blends in, and sometimes it really doesn't, and you see it and you are not getting it out. So it really depends on the type of scratch. So, lambskin, I'm team lambskin. But let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on lambskin, if you've had a bad experience with lambskin, had a great experience with lambskin, just what your thoughts are. Would you buy Chanel lambskin? Would you buy Chanel lambskin at this price range? Because honestly, Chanel has gotten so expensive, it's not even funny. So if you liked this video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is twice a week. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and comment down below if you have anything to say about lambskin. If you want to see how I style my bags, please make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and my blog, all of which are linked down below. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys!